Stop doing push-ups the way you were taught. Right now, drop down and try one push-up with your hands together, thumbs touching, directly under your chest. Feel that? That burning in your arms after just one rep? That's the muscle your entire life of push-ups never touched. For centuries, Shaolin monks didn't train to look strong. They trained to survive strikes, break boards with bare hands, and generate force most modern athletes can't produce with a barbell. They didn't do it with the push-up you learned in middle school gym class. They used 6 variations. And chances are, you've never done a single one of them correctly. 99% of people who do push-ups are training the same 15 muscle fibers, over and over, while an entire chain of connective strength sits completely dormant. It's not a small mistake. It's the reason your chest grows but your shoulders stay flat. It's the reason one arm is visibly stronger than the other. It's the reason so many lifters hit a wall and never break past it, no matter how many reps they grind out. Here's what makes it worse. The longer you repeat the same flawed pattern, the more your body adapts to compensate around the weak points instead of fixing them. You get efficient at doing the wrong thing. Your nervous system learns to route around the gaps instead of closing them, which means the longer you've been training, the deeper the imbalance actually runs. 2 people can do the exact same number of push-ups every day for a year and end up in completely different places, purely because of which links in the chain were actually switched on. The push-up isn't broken. Your version of it is incomplete. And there's a very specific reason why, one that traces back over 1,000 years. In the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through 6 push-up variations almost nobody trains correctly. Movements Shaolin monks used to build functional, weaponized strength using nothing but their own body weight. 6 mistakes, 6 fixes, 1 system. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why your push-ups have plateaued, and you'll have a complete blueprint to fix it, starting with your very next set. No equipment, no gym membership, just floor space and about 10 minutes a day. Here's the concept you need to understand first. Your body is a chain, not a single muscle. A chain is only as strong as its weakest link. When you do a standard push-up, only a few links in that chain actually fire. Your chest, a little front deltoid, a little tricep. The rest of the chain, from your shoulder blades to your obliques to your stabilizing rotator cuff muscles, just goes along for the ride, contributing almost nothing. Sports scientists have studied this exact problem in bodyweight training research going back decades. The standard push-up is efficient for building surface-level strength, but does almost nothing for the stabilizer muscles that prevent injury and unlock real power output. Electromyography studies on pressing movements consistently show the same pattern. A handful of prime movers dominate the signal, while the smaller stabilizers barely register. The Shaolin monks weren't training for aesthetics. They were training for combat, where a weak link in the chain meant a broken wrist or a collapsed shoulder the moment force was applied. So they built movements that forced every link to fire together, under load, every single rep. That's the entire secret. Not more reps, not more weight, a stronger chain, from your fingertips to your hips. Think about what that actually means for your training. If you've spent years chasing bigger numbers, more reps, more sets, a slower tempo, without ever addressing which links in the chain are firing, you've essentially been reinforcing the same imbalance with more volume. The fix was never intensity. It was completeness. Once every link in that chain is doing its job, the strength you already have starts transferring into everything else you do. Your lifts, your sport, even how your shoulders feel walking around at the end of a long day. 1. The diamond press. Most people think this is just a harder push-up. It's not. It's a completely different lift in disguise. The mistake: doing it with elbows flared out, turning it into a shoulder-shredding compromise instead of a tricep builder. The fix: hands together under your sternum, elbows tracking backward along your ribs, not outward. Lower until your chest nearly touches your thumbs. This shifts nearly all the load onto your triceps, the muscle group that makes up roughly 2/3 of your upper arm, and the one almost nobody trains directly. Most people spend their entire lifting career chasing the smaller third of that equation and wonder why their arms never fill out a sleeve. But this next one isn't even the muscle most people forget exists. It's the one they've literally never heard of. The plus press. The serratus anterior, the muscle that wraps under your armpit along your ribs, controls how your shoulder blade glides. Skip it, and every overhead motion you'll ever do inherits a weak link. The mistake. Stopping the rep the second your arms lock out, treating full extension as the finish line. The fix. At full extension, push further. Round your upper back toward the ceiling, letting your shoulder blades spread apart. Hold that extra inch for a full second before lowering. This is the movement fighters and gymnasts use to protect their shoulders under repeated load. And it's almost always the very first thing left out of a beginner's routine. That one extra inch is where the real work begins. And the next variation fixes a problem almost every person watching this has right now, without knowing it. 3. The pike press. Standard push-ups are horizontal pressing. Your shoulders barely notice them. Vertical pressing is a different animal entirely, and it's the missing piece behind boulder shoulders. The mistake. Keeping hips low, which turns this into a glorified push-up instead of a vertical press. The fix. Hips high, forming an inverted V, hands under your shoulders. Lower the crown of your head toward the floor between your palms, then press back up through your shoulders, not your chest. Keep your core braced the entire time so your hips don't sag on the way down. Master this, and you're one step from a handstand push-up, a movement fewer than 1 in 100 people can perform. And once your shoulders can press your entire body weight vertically, horizontal pressing starts to feel almost effortless by comparison. But the next mistake is the one that quietly wrecks people's backs by their 40s. 4. The spider rotation. Your abs are not your core. Your core is a rotational system. And if you never train rotation, you're one awkward twist away from an injury. The mistake. Keeping your hips locked flat through the entire rep, training pure pressing and zero rotation. The fix. As you lower into the push-up, drive one knee in a slow arc toward the same side elbow, then return it as you press up. Alternate sides each rep. Keep the motion slow and controlled. This isn't about speed, it's about forcing your obliques and hip flexors to stabilize a moving limb while your upper body is still under load. Your obliques will ignite in a way flat bench push-ups never come close to. Here's the one almost nobody wants to hear though, because it exposes something you can't hide from. 5. The archer reach. One of your arms is stronger than the other. Every standard push-up you've ever done, let the stronger side quietly cover for the weaker one, and that gap has been widening the entire time. The mistake. Doing one-arm focused push-ups, where you barely shift your weight, so the weak side still gets a free ride. The fix. Hands wide, lower to one side while the opposite arm stays locked straight like a drawn bow, shifting your full body weight over the bending arm. Press back to center. Alternate. Go slow enough on your weaker side that you actually feel it struggling. That struggle is the point. There's no hiding in this rep. Each side has to earn it. Everything up to this point built control. The final piece is what turns control into power. 6. The Tyson drive. Strength that can't move fast isn't combat ready, and it isn't athlete ready either. The mistake. Performing every push-up at the same slow, controlled tempo, which never trains your fast twitch fibers at all. The fix. From a push-up position, drive your body forward explosively in a shallow lunging motion, loading your chest and shoulders through an extended path, then absorb the landing and reset with control. Only attempt this once the first 5 movements feel stable. This is an advanced expression of everything you just built. This is plyometric training, the same category behind a boxer's fastest combinations and a sprinter's first step off the blocks. Here's what needs to be said plainly. It was never about doing more push-ups. It's not volume. It's not adding weight to your back. It's not switching to a harder bodyweight movement every week for novelty's sake. People assume harder automatically means better. It doesn't. A harder version of the wrong movement just reinforces the same broken pattern with more intensity. You get better at compensating, not better at moving correctly. Plenty of people can grind out 50 push-ups a day for years and still have the same weak links they started with, because volume was never the variable that mattered. What actually changes your body isn't difficulty, it's completeness. It's about training the whole chain, not just the strongest link in it. Run through those 6, and you now understand more about push-up mechanics than the vast majority of people who've been in a gym their entire life. Not because you found some secret exercise, but because you finally understand what the exercise was supposed to be doing all along. 6 links, 1 chain, and for the first time, every part of it pulling its own weight. Here's your task. Right now, before you do anything else, do 5 plus presses. Just 5. Feel that muscle under your armpit fire for maybe the first time ever.